Hello, this is Bob, and I'll be reading the Tuesday, April 8th, 2025 edition of the Fall River Herald. Today's weather will be windy but clearing skies, 43 to 50 for a high, 24 to 31 for a low. On Wednesday, it'll be mostly sunny, 43 to 50 for a high, 24 to 31 for a low. On Thursday, we're seeing clouds increasing, 48 to 55 for a high, 38 to 45 for a low. Friday is rain, 50 to 57 for a high, 42 to 49 for a low. And Saturday, cloudy and a little more rain, 56 to 63 for a high, 43 to 50 for a low. The sun rose this morning at 6:16 and it sets tonight at 7:18. The front page article on today's edition is entitled 31 Charges Made Against Gavin. Fall River ex-police chief accusations compiled. The city's investigation into former police chief Paul Gavin, a report that led to Gavin's firing last Tuesday, examined 7 groups of allegations and 31 specific charges of misconduct. The accusations, investigated by the firm of Comprehensive Investigations and Consulting, range from stealing pictures off a wall from the Fall River Police Department, to taking pay for extra hours, to leaving intimidating threats to his successor, Interim Police Chief Kelly Furtado. It resulted in a 90-page report. The investigation, conducted over several weeks, involved 18 interviews with past and present officers, former City Administrator Seth Aitken, and others, and no fewer than 35 evidence exhibits. Of the 31 charges, 16 were found to be not sustained by the evidence. 15 charges, including 4 instances of conduct unbecoming an officer and 3 violations of the Law Enforcement Code of Ethics, were sustained. Here's a breakdown of everything in the report. Gavin, a nearly 30-year veteran of the FRPD with time spent in major crimes and professional standards, was named chief in 2022. In September 2024, the 2 police unions representing officers in the department, the Fall River Police Superior Officers Association and the Fall River Police Patrolmen's Association, had taken votes of no confidence in his leadership. By the end of that month, he was removed from the chief's position and was returned to his prior rank of captain in major crimes. What accusations did people make against Paul Gavin? 1, that when cleaning out his desk as chief, he left a .40 caliber bullet and a knife in a drawer as a threatening message to Furtado. 2nd, that he kept 3 firearms not registered to him in his locker. That he routinely gave himself and subordinates 2 extra hours of on-call compensation over a period of several years, and retaliated against a captain who brought the error to his attention. That he misrepresented accrued time off to get a monetary cash out. That he made false and harmful statements about the department to the media. That he removed 2 historic pictures from police headquarters. That he opened an investigation into an officer as retaliation for his role as union president. Did Gavin make threats to the current chief? According to the report, when Furtado took over the chief's position on October 15, 2024, a .40 caliber bullet and a folding pocket knife were found in a desk drawer. In an interview conducted by investigators, Gavin denied leaving the objects there on purpose and said, "Every desk that I've ever been to, there's always been something along those lines in there." However, in her interview, Furtado noted that other drawers in the desk contained typical office supply clutter, including paper clips and pushpins, but that the drawer containing the knife and bullet were otherwise empty and clean. You're a backstabber. You're going to get a bullet. That's what I took it as, Furtado told investigators. Furtado, a 37-year veteran of the force, described her relationship with Gavin as tumultuous, a sentiment echoed by Lieutenant Matthew Mendez of the Office of Professional Standards. Gavin told investigators such objects were common in police desk drawers and should not frighten any city police officer. Others interviewed, including Deputy Chief Barton Castro and former Chief Jeffrey Cardoza, told investigators they knew of no other instance where ammunition was found in a desk drawer. The findings, the investigation called it a hostile act, neither civil nor courteous. Allegations of conduct unbecoming an officer, workplace harassment, conduct towards associates, untruthfulness, and a violation of the Code of Ethics were sustained. Did Gavin keep firearms not registered to him in his locker? 3 firearms not registered to Gavin were found in his locker. Pistols by Beretta, Davis, and Harrington and Richardson. Gavin told investigators they were antique firearms which he was planning to turn in at the next gun buyback, turned over to him by someone whose father had died at least 10 to 15 years earlier. According to the report, when discovered, Gavin asked that the weapons be brought to his home and that checking their registrations was unnecessary. But when told that they needed to be checked, Gavin changed his mind and indicated they should be kept at the station since they were to be destroyed. According to the findings, the investigation found that Gavin failed to log into evidence the weapons and that it was improper for him to store them, with allegations sustained of unbecoming conduct and violation of evidence and property control. Though Gavin certainly attempted to mislead and confuse the lieutenant who attempted to trace the gun's origins, an allegation of untruthfulness was not sustained since he did not claim to own them. Did Gavin give himself and others extra on-call hours? According to multiple complaints, Gavin was alleged to have credited himself and others with on-call hours beyond what they were allowed per week on multiple occasions from February 2018 to April 2021. Gavin told investigators that when the discrepancy was discovered, he corrected records and did not actually receive extra pay for those hours. However, investigators wrote that Gavin returned 14 out of 54 extra hours, cashing out the other 40. According to the findings, investigators sustained allegations that Gavin improperly gave himself extra hours, but said there is no clear evidence that Gavin retaliated against an officer who brought the matter to light. Was Gavin improperly paid for accrued time? Gavin faced allegations that he was improperly paid for accrued Group 7 time, a clause entitling him to an additional day off for every 3 weeks worked. Investigators heard testimony that Gavin's pay is structured differently than union members, and that pay he received for Group 7 time was in line with his contract. According to the findings, no allegations of larceny or violations of compensation policies were sustained. Did Gavin speak improperly to the media? Gavin was alleged to have made statements to 2 local media outlets that were perceived as negative about the department. In those articles, Gavin called the no confidence vote a coup and said that the police unions were not being transparent in the discussion and the vote that they took. According to the findings, investigators found that since Gavin had the capacity as chief to make statements to the media and express his views, allegations that he was hostile towards associates disloyal, or untruthful in this matter were not sustained. Did Gavin steal 2 historical pictures from police headquarters? According to investigators, 2 framed historical photographs have gone missing from the department headquarters. One, which had hung in the chief's office during the tenure of multiple chiefs, Gavin said he took home, saying he believed it was left behind by a previous chief and not valuable. He also told investigators that he intended to return it to the department when he returned from leave to head the Major Crimes Division. The second picture, a framed photograph of the Braga Bridge, currently is missing and went missing around the time Gavin went on leave, but no evidence exists to link its disappearance to Gavin. According to the findings, the investigation called Gavin's taking of a photo from Furtado's office puerile behavior that brought discredit upon him and was directly related to his animosity against Chief Furtado, but that it did not constitute larceny. Did Gavin retaliate against an officer and union president? According to the investigation in September 2024, Officer John Ferreira, president of the Patrolmen's Union, facilitated an anonymous vote of union membership that found overwhelmingly officers had no confidence in Gavin's leadership. On September 10th, the day after Ferreira brought the results to the attention of the mayor's administration, Ferreira was notified that he was officially under investigation related to the misuse of union time. According to the findings, the investigation notes that while the timing of the inquiry is highly concerning, there was never an investigation opened. Ferreira was never served with a notice or subjected to review and was not disciplined. None of the allegations were sustained. This next article is entitled Celebration to Highlight Fall River Restaurants. Let the feasting begin. Fall River Restaurant Week kicked off last Friday, April 4th, as locals embark on a 10-day celebration of the city's diverse food culture. Organized by Viva Fall River in partnership with the City of Fall River, this 4th annual event aims to shine a spotlight on local eateries with dining deals, exclusive menus, and an array of mouth-watering dishes from city restaurants. This year's lineup represents a variety of cultures and cuisines, from Southeast Asian to Italian, American, Mexican, Dominican, Puerto Rican, and Portuguese. Menus include gluten-free and vegan options, and locations range from casual to grab-and-go to upscale. If there's a restaurant you've been dying to try, the time is now to get a taste of all that Fall River has to offer. There are 24 restaurants in all, and you can get a glimpse at their Restaurant Week offerings by visiting www.vivafallriver.com Restaurant Week. The full list of participating restaurants include 9-Star International, Avo's Feast, Barker Restaurant, the Belmont Club, the Brew House District, Bun Buds, Canned Heat, Casa Ive, Chocolate Cafe, the Cove Restaurant and Marina, Duke's Bakery, Phoenix Coney Island, Granite Grill, Juiced Cafe, Morgan's Cantina, Olympio's Restaurant, Primo on Water Street, St. James Irish Pub, TA Restaurant, Tequila Lime Cantina, Time Blossom, the Tipsy Toboggan, and Townhouse and Duro. What's cooking? Get a taste of newcomers' menus. Here's a peek at what a handful of the city's newest eateries are serving up. Morgan's Cantina is the latest exciting addition to the Fall River food scene. If you haven't yet popped in for an upscale dining experience of authentic Mexican eats and creative cocktails enhanced by gorgeous water views, grab a friend and head to Ferry Street. Their Cantina's three-course culinary journey kicks off with your choice of starter, such as guacamole, jalapeno rellenos, chicken chiquitas, chorizo tamales, and queso fundido. Entree options featuring Mexican fare with a contemporary touch include homemade corn flour tortilla tacos with chicken, steak, slow-cooked carnitas, shrimp, and sofritas, roasted poblano smash burger, or taco verde bowl. Make sure to save room for dessert because you don't want to miss out on your choice of tres leches cake, a sweet Latin American staple, churros, or waffle skillet sundae. Their Restaurant Week spread is $35 per person and only available Wednesday through Saturday from noon to 4 p.m. Enjoy a different kind of menu at 1365 Rodman Street, a longtime Portuguese food fixture that's now home to Olimpio's restaurant, which opened in early February inside St. John's Athletic Club. Their diverse menu, where you can still find Portuguese fare with a twist, centers more on Italian-American cuisine. Olimpio's prefix three-course meal is $35 per person. App offerings include stuffed mushrooms, clam cakes or chorizo clam cakes, lobster rangoon, or clams casino. Follow that up with one of their main course highlights, lobster ravioli, veal parmesan, stuffed shrimp, or surf and turf that consists of a 5-ounce grilled filet tenderloin and stuffed shrimp. Then it's your pick of sweet treats such as cheesecake, Boston cream pie, s'mores brownies. Looking to mix things up and get outside your comfort zone? Check out 9 Star International, which opened September 2024 at 275 Martin Street, where they'll be serving up Southeast Asian delicacies. Their more limited Restaurant Week menu features Pang Mon Kun, also referred to as balut, a popular Cambodian street food, 2 for $6, and mango sticky rice for $7. If you're looking for something on the go, you can head to Bun Buds, which opened last June at 10 Purchase Street, where you can find elevated dumplings and foot-long gourmet hot dogs with outside-the-box toppings. Restaurant Week specials include a twin flame dumpling box for $20, kimchi pork belly bao buns at $16, mega dog bun bud style at $12, featuring a 1 to 3 pound all-beef dog topped with Korean barbecue short rib sauce, pickled carrots and chives, and dollar dumplings. While Restaurant Week is the perfect excuse to take a break from counting calories, Primo on Water Street is tossing in some tasty options for the health-conscious. Get your steps in on the boardwalk and get snatched with Shannon, reads the promotion from owners Shannon Raposo and James Primo III. The Chef's Choice menu at 36 Water Street, which opened in the spring of 2024, will be showcasing their new salad bar with a salad bar special or salad of the week, which you can opt to put in a bread bowl because it's all about balance. They also have a drink special, Teeny Bikini Martinis for $9. Fall River Restaurant Week takes place from Friday, April 4th through Sunday, April 13th. This year's event offers both three-course prefix options for $35 per person, as well as a Chef's Choice menu, which is an opportunity for restaurants to offer new dishes or test out new menu concepts, Viva Fall River states. For a peek at what tasty specials each restaurant has cooked up, visit fallriver.com/restaurant-week. Diners are encouraged to review the restaurant listings on this site before dining out to understand the offer's details, including pricing and eligible hours, which may differ from the establishment's regular hours of operation. In an effort to encourage repeat visitors at city eateries, patrons can now take advantage of the first ever passport program that rewards diners for exploring multiple restaurants during Fall River Restaurant Week. Visitors can collect digital stamps at participating restaurants to receive incentives and be entered into raffles for prizes. Visit Fall River's website or Facebook page for more details on the passport program. This next article is entitled, According to police, Fall River officer arrested as part of a human trafficking sting. A Fall River police officer has been arrested as part of a human trafficking sting by the Boston Police Department's Human Trafficking Unit. According to a media release from the Fall River Police Department, the officer was taken into custody as part of a sting operation related to an ongoing investigation. At the time of his arrest, the officer was on extended leave from the Fall River Police Department due to unrelated personnel matters, the release said. Prior to this incident, the department was preparing to initiate formal proceedings under the Civil Service disciplinary process, the release said. His employment status is now under further review in light of these serious new developments. Interim Police Chief Kelly A. Furtado said in a statement, quote, "The conduct alleged is reprehensible and stands in direct opposition to the values we expect from members of this department. We take these matters extremely seriously and are fully cooperating with the Boston Police Department. There is no place in law enforcement for anyone who violates the public trust," end quote. As this is an active criminal investigation, the release said no further details were being released at this time. Arraignment information was unknown at the time of this writing. This next article is entitled, "When is the last frost date predicted to be?" Preparing to garden this season? The last frost is coming up. The last frost date marks the end of freezing temperatures which can kill tender plants like tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers. It therefore signals the start of the spring gardening season. While weather forecasts change daily, the average last frost dates are predictable based on where it's fallen in previous years. According to the National Gardeners Association, frosts can form in weather as low as 36 degrees, meaning once nighttime temperatures no longer reach the mid-30s, it's safe to plant crops. Here are the average last frost dates around Massachusetts, according to the National Gardeners Association. For Boston, there's a 50% chance last frost happens in Boston by April 20th. Here are the other possibilities. There's a 90% chance by May 1st, an 80% chance by April 27th, 70% chance by April 24th, and only a 60% chance by April 22nd, a Quincy average last frost date. The Quincy average last frost date, there's a 50% chance last frost happens in Quincy by May 13th. Here are the other possibilities. A 90% chance by May 25th, 80% chance by May 21st, 70% chance by May 18th, and a 60% chance by May 15th. For Plymouth, the average last frost date, there's a 50% chance of the last frost happens in Plymouth by May 13th, a 90% chance by May 27th, an 80% chance by May 22nd, 70% chance by May 19th, and a 60% chance by May 16th. In Hyannis, the average last frost date, a 50% chance that last frost happens in Hyannis by May 8th. Here are the other possibilities. There's a 90% chance by May 25th, 80% chance by May 19th, 70% chance by May 15th, and a 60% chance by May 11th. In Worcester, the average last frost date, there's a 50% chance last frost happens in Worcester by May 8th. Here are the other possibilities. 90% chance by May 22nd, 80% chance by May 17th, 70% chance by May 14th, and a 60% chance by May 11th. This next article is from Reuters. According to the courts, Trump can't remove Democrats from labor boards. A federal appeals court blocked President Donald Trump from removing Democratic members from 2 federal labor boards on Monday, setting aside its earlier ruling. The decision by the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit further complicates a pair of cases that are emerging as key tests of Trump's efforts to bring under his control agencies meant to be independent from the White House. The full D.C. Circuit, in a 7-4 decision, set aside a 3-judge panel's March ruling that paused lower court decisions blocking Trump from removing Gwynne Wilcox from the National Labor Relations Board and Kathy Harris from the Merit Systems Protection Board. Monday's decision puts back in place 2 judges' decisions that upheld federal laws barring the president from removing members of the labor boards at will. The White House and lawyers for Wilcox and Harris did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Without Wilcox and Harris, the 5-member NLRB and 3-member Merit Systems Protection Board would not have enough members to decide cases, bringing much of the work of the agencies to a standstill. The NLRB hears cases in which private sector employers and labor unions are accused of illegal labor practices. The Merit Board hears appeals by federal employees when they are fired or otherwise disciplined and has been inundated with new cases as a result of Trump's ongoing purge of the federal workforce. More than 8,400 appeals have been filed with the board since Trump returned to office in January, which is roughly the number the agency typically deals with in 2 years. Like several other agencies, both boards were set up by Congress to be independent from the president in order to maintain impartiality when they decide individual cases. Congress passed laws giving job protections to members of these boards, allowing them to be fired by a president only for, quote, neglect of duty or malfeasance in office, end quote, and in the case of the Merit Board, also for inefficiency. Trump fired Wilcox and Harris soon after he took office in January, the first time a president had acted to remove members of either board. Harris and Wilcox filed lawsuits separately, accusing Trump of violating the statutory job protections in firing them. The Trump administration acknowledged violating the laws, but said the protections from removal for members of the 2 boards ran afoul of the powers given to the president under the Constitution. The D.C. Circuit panel split 2-1 when it paused the lower court ruling last month. 2 Republican-appointed judges said removal protections for NLRB and Merit Board members were likely an invalid encroachment on Trump's powers to manage the executive branch. But the full court on Monday said those judges had ignored U.S. Supreme Court precedent that upheld the structure of other independent federal agencies. And we've reached the end of our time. This has been Bob reading the Tuesday, April 8th, 2025 edition of the Fall River Herald. Thank you very much for listening and have a pleasant day.